So as I mentioned, Saturday I went down because we were going to go do these interviews with Nesbitt, Martone, Bonk, Bump, and Bjarnason. A lot of B's. And I will tell you, the goal of doing any interview is to try to get something new. Like everybody asks the same question.
Porter, is it true, though, that you really do think you have a chance to make the NHL roster? Carson, what's it like to be a goalie? Oliver, I know you're not on the ice, but do you miss playing the game? Alex, was it fun to win a national championship? Cam, do you think, or Jack?
I don't know why I keep calling him Cam Nesbitt. It's Jack Nesbitt.
Jack, is being 6'5" interesting? Is the air thinner up there?
Like, there are certain questions that you can ask. And I'm not saying that we didn't ask any of those questions on the show, but like, by the time you get done watching the interviews that we did for Snow the Goalie, you will feel like you know these guys better. On the ice and off the ice. I can promise you that. You'll have a better idea of what each of them is going to be working on between now and training camp, the upcoming season, whether they're going to be back at juniors, if they're going to go to college, if they go to the Phantoms, if they end up with the Flyers. You'll have a much better holistic idea of the player. So that's cool. But I'm down there on Saturday morning, and there weren't a whole lot of things that stood out, right? Like, I was down watching the Martone group. He was on the end that I was closer at. And Martone, to me, looks like a guy who, watching him on the ice, talking to him as part of the interview, I just have this feeling that Porter Martone at this point believes he has a very realistic chance to make the Flyers at a camp. That's not arrogance. That is confidence. He did not give off the vibe that he's entitled to anything. He said pretty much the exact opposite, and he has been saying pretty much the exact opposite since getting drafted by the Flyers. But make no mistake about it, Tyson Foerster's injury has opened that door. If Martone thought that there was a good chance or an outside chance he could make the Flyers out of camp, that certainly changed once Tyson Foerster got hurt. It certainly ramped up when Maxim Shabanov signed with the Islanders instead of the Flyers. Now all of a sudden, Porter Martone feels like he has a legitimate path to making the team. Now, they have a lot of right wings. And in fairness, most people view Martone and his ultimate upside as being a right winger. But could there be an opening? Could there be potential for him to play on the left wing if that's going to get him on the team? Maybe. I don't know if the Flyers are going to do a whole lot of screwing around about playing him on his off wing, but like, there's a potential there. So Martone to me feels like a guy who absolutely has the hockey IQ, has the size, and could potentially bulk up a little bit more, have more of that size from Jump Street when the season starts. I think there's a very good chance that you see Porter Martone on the Flyers on opening night. Keep in mind, he is in a very weird place because my understanding now is for him to participate at training camp, he will very likely have to sign that ELC. As soon as he signs the ELC, he is no longer college eligible, which means if you're a Penn State fan who is convinced that he's going to go to Penn State, your dream will end. If you are a fan of another college program, and by the way, I'm not convinced that like it's Penn State or bust. There are other teams that are certainly interested in him. If you're a college program and you're looking at trying to woo Porter Martone, right now his sights are set on the NHL. There's no doubt about it. He also has to get a feeling from the organization if it's realistic or not, because you can't sign that ELC, get rid of your college eligibility, and then like be here for a week of camp and be told, you know what? Never mind. Because then what? What's your next option? You're going to go play junior? I guess. He's going to be too young to play in the AHL. There's a provision in the upcoming CBA that would affect next year where a first-round pick could be under the requisite age to actually go play in the AHL. You get it for one first-round pick. And in theory, Martone could have been that guy if this had been happening next season instead of this season. But there are enough complicating factors right now that, like, if you're the Flyers and you're looking at the depth chart and you're looking at the fact that Forster's out, Shabanov chose to sign elsewhere, then all of a sudden you go, Are we rushing the kid? Is Martone going to have his development stymied by being brought up too early? And there is legitimately some validity to that argument. He's a young guy. He's still a young prospect. He wouldn't be AHL eligible. So it's college, or I guess juniors, or he goes to play in the NHL. I think he is ultimately going to make a hell of a case. I fully expect him to not go to college. I fully expect that he's going to try to sign that ELC and do everything in his power to make the team. That's what I think. I could be wrong. He could talk to the Flyers over the next month or so, and they say, listen, as much as we would love to see you compete for a spot, we don't want you to sign that ELC and lose out on the opportunity to go try to pursue a national championship and develop at the collegiate level. I don't know if they'll do that, but they could have that conversation. So if it were me, if I were a Penn State fan and I were preparing to get a Porter Martone college sweater, would I do that? I don't know. You certainly can. If I were a Michigan State or a Western Michigan or somebody else and I were going to get a Martone stitch jersey, would I do that? I don't know. Maybe. If I were a Flyers fan and I were thinking about getting a Porter Martone sweater, custom made right now, would I do it? I don't know. Maybe. I think that there are a lot of different things in play for the kid. But ultimately, I think he wants to play for the Flyers. And I'm pretty convinced he's going to make a very compelling case to be on the opening night roster.